Hey guys, my name is Dave Kristen. If we've never met before, I'm the race director of Ironman Boulder, and most people that know me just call me DC. I think it's just because there's probably too many Daves in this world, and it's a little easier to remember that than my full name. I use this Facebook page as a primary way to communicate with those that are interested in Ironman Boulder, those that are racing Ironman Boulder, and people that might be even spectating. The Today's a little bit different. Today I want to launch a campaign with you guys, or an effort we'll call it, to try to do something really special in our endurance world, and really protect what we love and what we enjoy. And I'm going to explain a little bit about that. As many of you know, with some context before I go much further, as many of you know, I work for Ironman, and outside of race directing here in Boulder, I go to many events around the country that we own, that we put on. To date, I've worked over 100 Ironmans. Last year, Ironman Boulder was actually my 100th Ironman event, and it was really special just because that's our hometown event, and it was a really obviously special weekend for us in general, and I'll explain a little bit about that now. I share that with you to demonstrate, not to pound my chest on how many races I've worked, but to demonstrate that I've seen something that I think is really important that we need to address as a group, and collectively we can do something about, across the whole country, not just here. I go into communities all across this country and into different parts of the world, but primarily here. I've noticed something that we've got to do something about, and I'm excited to do that with you guys. Last year here in Boulder, the athletes made and really solidified this Ironman here in Boulder as the friendliest Ironman, I think, in the world. It's really a unique effort and personality type, that the event truly was special, and one that proved to me what I think is necessary for our sport to continue, our sports outside of triathlon like cycling and running, and for races of all shapes and sizes to remain alive and available. And that's important to note. I'm really concerned about this specific trend, and we've got to do something about it, and I think we can. Last year, the conversation we had here was wrapped around how generous and how encouraging the community of athletes, the community of spectators, and the community of Boulder were, shining bright of friendly and welcoming people. Which leads me to the most important issue I think our endurance sports face today. Each weekend I set in a new community meeting on a Tuesday, usually Wednesday sometimes, in communities, and usually we're there with different city leaders and agencies wrapping up loose ends before we go into race weekend, and prepare the race for you guys. The conversation there is often logistical, but I have noticed one prevailing and underlying aspect in each meeting I have around the country, and that is that the community impact and the growing frustration of their constituents is growing to a boiling point. The people that are impacted by our event aren't necessarily aware, or interested, or completely educated on what these events are, but they're certainly impacted by the route or our training or other impacts of any type of triathlon, cycling, or running event. This year in Colorado, we had a community actually close its doors to existing and long-standing, well-run triathlon and cycling events. And this isn't because of the sole acts of a specific event or an event organizer in particular. It was because the community outcry in that community was louder than the positives that were coming from the event. And I think that's something that we can change, and that's what I want to explain later. This isn't a Colorado or a Boulder or a big city or a small city issue. I see this everywhere. This is a real concern that we should have as athletes that race, and that we have accessibility to these communities. These events cause disruptions, and it's not just because of a bunch of cranky people or people that are entitled that live on these roads or live in these communities. They're people just like you and me. They bought homes and they live on these roads for a specific reason. They have life to get to just like you and I do. They have plans for appointments, for shopping, flights, surgeries, weddings, funerals, short runs, long runs, strolls along the beach, whatever the errand is for that day. They have plans just like you and me. And I think we can relate to that at some level. I think we all can. without diving into what I know we all can understand at that level, is their overall anger with what we all do and enjoy in our sports on race day, or even when we're out in large numbers training. I want to focus on what the community of athletes collectively can do to help, and what I think we all can join in doing. Really easy steps to really address this. In Boulder, many local people, specifically a lot of leaders in the industry, are based here too, and we've been talking about how this is a growing problem and we've got to do something about it. In 2016, I want to start a campaign here in regards to endurance sports in general, centered around gratitude and friendliness. I'm not sure if this will stick, but the effort or the cause or the challenge, I'm kind of calling it the 3G challenge. I don't know if it'll stick, but that's what I've been calling it. This year, I'm challenging all athletes across the 3 different sports or any endurance space event in general to accomplish 3 goals in respects to preserving our opportunities to race in communities in this area or anywhere that you race. The first is to be grateful. The second is to be gracious. And the third is to be generous, all G's. So let me go through each one and what we're going to do. In the month of March, the first theme is going to be grateful. I meet with city leaders all the time, and the one thing that they boast and hang on their walls, more than degrees, more than pictures of their family, more than anything that I've ever seen, are thank you notes. And that's interesting. And it's not because of what the note says. It's because it's so very rare that they get thanked at all for what they do. And that's important to note. And in March, I'm challenging all tri-clubs, cycling groups, training groups, running groups, whatever it might be, to email or mail their permitting agencies for events they participate in. And that's very specific. Not just one letter from the club where we all sign it together and we send off one note to a city council and say, hey, thank you from 85 of us. I'm really challenging each athlete to take a moment. This is 5 minutes in the month of March that we can give and change the face of our sport and just say thank you to somebody. If you have any problem finding who these people are, who you should email, you can send me a direct message on this Facebook page. I'll find someone for you in your communities. It doesn't and shouldn't be just our Boulder communities or anywhere specific to you. If it's a place that you like to race and you like to go, find out who those people are in those communities and just shoot them a quick email, or maybe even take the time and send a personal note. I mean, what a unique opportunity we have. City council leaders, parks and rec directors, police commanders and chiefs, and many other people are involved in permitting your event. We don't just submit a piece of paper and we show up on Sunday and put a race on. There's hundreds of people that are involved in the background to getting your events that you love and enjoy off the ground and running. In the month of March, just because this is how I can say thank you, the club that demonstrates that the most, specifically Tri Club, that's where I'm going to limit it to Tri Clubs or training groups, those that I have the most contact with. We're going to give you 20 parking passes to use at your disposal for Ironman Boulder's swim start venue, which is really hard to get into. We only shuttle people in, but you'll have the opportunity to come in with our VIP and our volunteers that morning. You'll have 20 passes. So the month of March, our challenge is to be grateful. We're all going to try to find somebody that we can send a letter or a note to and get that out. And I'm going to say thank you to the Tri Club or Tri Group or individuals that get together and do this and demonstrate that most on our Facebook page with 20 parking passes. No offense to cycling or running groups. I just don't have a means to say thank you to you guys, but I'm hoping that other event directors will latch onto this and they'll find ways to reward you. I'm sure that they will in your areas. So I'll post on that in March and we'll add some more detail, but that's the general idea. And then in the month of April, we're going to go to the second G, and that is to be gracious. And in April, I'm going to call on all athletes in the endurance space to get together and do something something gracious in their communities. Adopt roads, clean the parks that we use, find some communities that just need some help in terms of whatever volunteer group that we can do. Just give them 4 hours of your time that month and have fun doing it as a group. This will go a long way in preserving our reputation and our perception in communities, and it's gonna do some great things for everybody. The Tri Group a bunch of triathlon individuals that are doing this together that demonstrates that the most. Again, I'll reward them with another set of 20 parking passes for the month of April, or sorry, for the Ironman Boulder event, if they demonstrate that well in the month of April. The third G, and I think the most important G, we'll be practicing in the month of May, is probably going to have the most profound impact, I think, on our communities. The money we spend in training and the money that we spend on racing, in many people's eyes, could be considered outrageous. Well, in the month of May, we're going to put our money not where our mouth is, we're going to put our money where their mouth is. And in the month of May, I'm challenging everybody to get together in groups, whether you're a club or a training group or whatever, and I'm going to challenge that you buy and cater a lunch for a police department of your choice that are involved with events. And what that means is when you're at an event and you're racing through an intersection, there are law enforcement officers that have to be at those intersections and protect you as you're going through. They're giving you priority. They're standing there in their dark uniforms, and they're often withstanding the verbal abuse from the vehicles that are impacted by our events, to the point that I made earlier. And we have to say thank you to these people. So we're just going to generously provide a lunch for a police department of your choice. It can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be related to our event here in Boulder. You can do it anywhere that you want. But get together. It can be pizza. It can be a burrito bar. It can be whatever you see fit. But pick a police department. And the club that demonstrates that effort, again, the best, in my opinion, on our Facebook page in the month of May, will provide 20 parking passes to the Ironman Boulder event for this one venue. Friends, listen, this is important. We are going to lose places to race if we don't do something about this. We've got to say thank you. Our voice has to be louder than the people that are disrupted by our events. Guys, we have a challenge in our sport, guys. It's not a lack of youth, and it's not a lack of a certain type of racing. The real challenge that we face is maintaining races in an increasingly more difficult environment to gain permits in. We must change the way we're perceived, and we must make strides to be the sport that people love to work with. Right now, there's constituents in these communities that are voicing their concerns and their anger with these events, and we're also community members. And just like voting for the president, we have to express how much we value these things. And if our voice is not heard in what we enjoy and what we love to do, not just our Ironman races, but any race, shape, or size, if we don't voice these appreciations to these people, they never hear it, and all of a sudden they're going to make decisions quickly that'll make it really, really difficult for us to put events on. Triathlon groups are especially up for some great rewards, but all clubs alike are welcome to join in this effort. All clubs, groups, training partners, however it may be. A parking pass shouldn't be the only motivator that we have, but those are just ways that I can personally say thank you to groups that I have influence with and time that I spend with at our events here. Reply below with your club's pledge or training group or whatever it might be to join us over the next 3 months in B3G. You watch what this does in our communities, and the friendliness that we are going to demonstrate will have a profound impact on our industry space in general. Again, stay tuned to this Facebook page. Each month I'm going to post the challenge again as reminders, but I'd love to hear your stories. Share this with anybody and everybody that you can. I think it's an important thing challenge that we face, but we can do something about it. It's going to be great, and we'll feel good doing it, and that's an important thing. These 3 easy steps will change our endurance sports, and I'm excited to do that with you guys. Stay tuned to the Facebook page for more information about Ironman Boulder, and as always, please feel free to shoot messages on the page or to me directly with any questions that you have, and I'll be glad to answer them. So stay tuned for more posts about the 3G challenge, and I'm excited to do this with you guys. Take care.